Hello. This is another video about mentally speaking. And today about mentally speaking, we can't help but think about Kanye West saying that he is going to run to be the president of the United States. I mean, we have seen Kanye support Trump and everything he was doing, saying that slavery was not a big thing. We the ones that stayed enslaved. We should have freed ourselves. And then he has his Sunday morning church, and he's Yeezy and all over the place. And I myself have said several times that he exhibits traits of being bipolar. And many people don't understand bipolar, you know. They're just like, oh, you're so depressed and you're so moody. 1 minute you love me, 1 minute you hate me. 1 minute you want me here, the next minute you want me gone. They speak of it as just changing your mind. Being contrary, want one thing, then flipping just the opposite, wanting something else. And they like, oh, women are so bipolar. My girlfriend is so bipolar. She was mad at me this morning, and now she wants to cuddle tonight. That is not being bipolar, okay? Being bipolar is two poles. One pole is mania, where we're excited, full of energy, popping all around, revved up, and even irritable. A lot of people in the manic state curse a lot, may swing things, and easily irritated and fussing and just going off the handle. Or they may be booking a flight to another country, decided they're going to be a model, and they take the chance and off they go. And then after 6 months over there, they realize, hey, what the heck did I do? But they was in a manic state where you think you can fly. I believe I can fly, right? But they can't fly. But they're so revved up and they're great. You believe them. And that's why so many artists, myself included, are so creative and think out the box. We have thoughts that just go all the time. And we have that energy, and when we use the energy, it's great. We're high, it's fun, we're laughing, we're creative. And a lot of artists will not take medication because their creativity is changed and it's dulled, and they can't take that. That's who they are, a creative person. And then once that's dulled, there's just nothing to them. And then they end up committing suicide. So Kanye is a wonderful musician and creator of music and imaginative, and he fits right in to the definition of bipolar. In the bipolar state, you do things and you're even guilty. People get married, pick up men at bars, and then when they come down there, like, oh my Lord, what did I see in them? Most people that are bipolar don't recognize it, and people around them don't recognize it because they're just fun-loving people. They're crazy, they do things, and they're just real outgoing. And then there's the flip side, the depression. And then in the depression, there's guilt, there's sadness, there's hopelessness, there's like, I can't understand any meaning to life, I don't want to get up, I don't want to socialize. And that is the extreme. And a lot of people get suicidal on the depressed side. So it's just not switching your mind, changing your mind. We're talking about a real high in mania, charisma, thinking you're the best person. Like Kanye, if people would listen to me, I could solve all the problems. I have it all understood. And why don't people listen to me? I'm smart, I'm wise, I done figured things out. I know things people don't know, and people will follow me. And that's mania, just energy, thought, creativity. You know, if I could just get this out, you would understand, and I'd solve war, hunger, and racism and poverty. Then you got this side over here when it goes. Some people sit in front of a TV staring blankly. What they say is catatonic, not speaking, not moving, just no motivation or anything. And also with bipolar, we have insomnia. People have sleeping problems. They are so revved up with so many thoughts at night till they can't calm down and rest, and then during the daytime they may sleep, and some just keep going. It is not a big deal for people to be revved up for 3 and 4 days and say, I haven't even slept. I only had an hour of sleep. I only had this. And then guilt is a part of it too. But President Kanye West, wow. I don't know if he sought mental health treatment for bipolar disorder or any disorder, but it is quite evident to many people when he's in a state of mania and when he's in depression. So bipolar is just more than changing your mind from day to day. It's dangerous, it's reckless when you're in the manic state. Like I say, you may take off, you may make a gamble, you may make poor business decisions because you're just so high and revved up. And agitation, people fuss and fight, and you don't know where it's coming from. They agitated everything you do. And then of the depressed part, where nobody understands, and some people are suicidal. And the biggest medicine they had for that was lithium, but it's an old drug now. It's an old time drug. They have many more drugs that are effective, but lithium was the boss to handle this. But it is so difficult to diagnose a person that's bipolar because, of course, everybody's not happy all the time, everybody's not sad all the time, and you love the people when they're up and everything, and then when they're down, you just don't see them. They recluse, they closed up, they may not go anywhere. And you just like, oh, Jim ain't been out in a week. And then here comes Jim, life of the party. Hey, here I am. Let's get it going. I look good. I feel good, you know. And people with bipolar disorder do have chemical dependencies because the depression. And then the guilt also for actions they did, because many people with bipolar disorder have affairs, flings, and whatever. All the emotions are out of control. It just isn't laughter out of control. It's driving fast, speeding, gambling, buying clothes where you look the best and you deserve it. It is emotions on the high side to super high. So you're up here on this side, and then when the chemical serotonin changes in your brain, that's one of the I guess it's called hormones or secretions to the brain that's off balance, and serotonin, it drops, and now you're down here. So you went from here, happy, sunshine, everything's good, life of the party, one-man show, and boom, no causation. There's no causation that made you go there. It's the chemicals in your brain changing and affecting it, and now you're here. And you look over here and see some of the crazy stuff you did. You done cheated on your girlfriend, left your husband, filed for divorce, jumped on people that you really love, and that depresses you also and make you feel guilty. But you're way down here, and the chemicals are telling you, you know, you aren't motivated, you can't do anything. If you do it, you can't do it right, blah, blah. It is severe, and both sides are agonizing. It is not fun times for mania because, like I say, that's not in your control either. And people can hurt themselves. And like one woman in the store, she decided she wanted to be a model, packed up, moved to China, and she did. She did become a model. Then she fell in love with a guy, moved to Africa, and then she was like, oh my God, there's no time limit. It's not like a day of mania or a week of mania or 2 weeks of mania or 3 weeks of mania. It is what it is until it stops, and the same thing with depression. This disorder does not go away. It is just managed better. So instead of your manias being here, they try to get them to here. Instead of your depressions being here, they try to get them to here. But you always have that imbalance, and you have to recognize that within yourself. People say, oh, I wish people could understand. Well, we have to understand ourselves. Even though the emotions are not controllable, we can't make it not happen. We can try to take stimuli and things away that makes it worse. Rest, self-maintenance, taking care of yourself, talking it out, letting people know, today I'm depressed, I don't feel well, and everything. And then when you're having these shopping sprees and stuff, you may need someone. People empty bank accounts and have credit card debt, and it's like, boom, who would do that? They have no more control over that than anybody else. So some people get offended when they call my girlfriend is bipolar. It don't offend me, but what does is that people may see people that are acting irrational like that, and they don't say anything or try to get them help. They enjoy them while they're up, and when they're down, they leave them alone and come back and forth. But 2.3 million people, that's 1% of the population in America, 2.3 million people suffer from bipolar disorder. And the onset, believe it or not, usually it happens before your early 20s when it show up, but it would definitely show up in your 20s. We have tons of kids, young adults going to college, and they flunk out of college from partying too hard and missing home and stuff, but that's when it shows up. A lot of people, it shows up when they go to college because of the stress point. And we also know that children that are young and have high IQs, people like, my baby is so smart, oh man, she can do all this, you ought to see her, she's doing this. Those children with high IQs at young ages are susceptible to bipolar disorder. And of course, it's genetic. If you have it in your family, it's usually going to pass down to someone else. If you have one bipolar person in your family, you can look and probably see more. It may be different extremes. It's not all the same for everybody. But it is so genetic that pretty much if it's diagnosed in one person in your family, it's probably someone else, or the onset hadn't come on, or they don't recognize it and they're hiding it. People hide things they do. But bipolar is so difficult to diagnose because the person is just so wonderful. They are creative. They do great things. They can make stuff, build stuff, never sleep, just go, go, go. People call some people workaholic. That's what the stage would be for a person that's bipolar. Someone of a workaholic, then they hit that wall, as people say, where they can't do anything. But you can look through history. So many people suffer from being bipolar that's creative. And it's also really bad to see that people are creative and those juices come from a certain place that's torturous for the person. Even though they're doing great things and being manic and agitated and wound up and unable to sleep and your mind racing and zipping, it's not comfortable. It's not comfortable. And I remember when I first took medication for it, and I was like, oh my God, this is how people's minds are. It doesn't, I don't think 1,000 things. You say boo, and I can have 12 different thoughts at one time about the word boo. You say food, I can have 15 thoughts about the word food. The mind is just electric and jumping, and it's wonderful. And people are like, well, they're intelligent. Yeah, intelligent yet tortured, because it's extreme thought and creativity and expression and things. And so it takes a while. You have to see the pattern, which don't go all the time. You could be depressed 3 months and manic a week. You could be manic 3 months and depressed a week, and people can't correlate it. So they say it takes at least 10 to 15 years to diagnose someone with bipolar disorder. And I had bipolar disorder my whole entire life, but it wasn't until around 46, 47, I had my third crash, my absolute big wig out that was totally destructive, that I was like, oh my God, yes, this is a pattern. Something's going on. This is just not me being wonderful and then making some few bad mistakes, you know. And I was so irritable. I would curse when a leaf dropped out the tree, and I was like, oh my goodness, what is wrong with me? But I couldn't stand anything for a while, but I could do anything. And I finally had to decide that I would leave the creative part of me and to be peaceful, more peaceful, because the emotions were extreme. But also I wanted to say about being bipolar, it affects the family a lot. But a lot of people don't know that those chemical changes, it affects the brain. It does. And it's a component that actually say, because it's so much different chemicals affecting the brain with the different going in and out, up and down, and stuff like that, it does damage the brain. And it is seen, the chemicals make up and the way the brain affected in Alzheimer's disease and Parkinson's disease, and one more disease. What is that other disease? Multiple sclerosis. Those three things are neurotransmitted disease. Bipolar fits into that range, okay? So it's that kind of deterioration of the brain for Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis and Alzheimer's seen also in the people with manic disorder, okay, bipolar disorder. And they call people depressive manic. I think that's what it is, manic depressive or something like that. But there's actually degeneration of the brain. Just think those extremes. The brain is going through something with those extremes of chemicals flowing, marinating, each side at what time. And one person, like I said, I had 3 big episodes where I was just spun out. Just spun the hell out. I was a danger to myself and others. And they say when you have those big spin outs like that, there's swelling in the brain, and the brain actually has to heal and go back to itself. So I know the first time I had a spin out, I couldn't read. I used to speed read like a maniac, right? It's the same thing. And then after the mania and depression was more under control, I couldn't remember what I read from the first word to the period in a sentence, and that had to come back to me. And it took about 2 years so I could read well again, but I never could speed read like I did before. And I lost memory. It was a whole year, 1996 is a blank, so I lost memory. And I tried to pull it out. It was like I was reaching into a dark closet or tunnel trying to find the memories, and it actually hurt. So I decided I wouldn't do that. And so each time I lost something, and then I came back and was restored. But this last time, it was so severe, unmedicated now, all this is unmedicated, that I had to learn a new person. I was not the same as in brain function, memory, of course, again, ability to watch a show. It took me a year and a half to be able to follow a 2-hour movie. That's how bad my brain had just had to heal. It had to heal, and it heals, and it don't actually necessarily heal back. So while Kanye is a joke and laughter, he's going through something publicly. And like I said, most bipolar people do not get treated until they really do something scary, that's scaring themselves or what have you. Like Robin Williams, they kill themselves. Anthony Bourdain, who thought, he was such a personality and everything, and he was fighting his demons. It's just a ton of people, and it's so sad when the suicide part happens. And sometimes somebody's very suicidal and they really don't get that manic. There's no set absolute to it. Each person is different, and each person has to be monitored. And thank God, Ancestry.com is doing some genetic research where they see promising signs. They can see certain things where you may be bipolar, and soon there can be a blood test that measures what's going on with you, your levels of hormones, and they can tailor pharmaceutically drugs to help you, and that'll be good, because one drug don't fit all. But the person, bipolar disorder does not go away. It is managed. And a lot of people will be okay for 3 or 4 years, and they're like, hey, I'm fine, I can come off my medicine, and they go right into another crash. No. You have to maintain this disease, and it progresses. It may be mild in your 20s, and then in your 30s it's a little worse in your little 40s. It seems to me that every 10 years I cycle. So I've had 3, and I told my husband, and bipolar disorder tears a family up. Can you imagine every time you flipped out you had an affair, and it's not something you want to do, and you're living in shame, regret, and you're horrible, and you're beating yourself, and you get suicidal? It's just a horrible thing. So many people with bipolar disorders end up divorced. They lose dear friends. I mean, you can't keep anybody flipping out like that. I say flipping out, and I hate to say flipping out, but it's so extreme. It's not a flip out. It's just you going from one chemical to another chemical, high in emotions. And there's nothing to do about that. And like I say, do very dangerous things when they're manic. You're like, so they're happy, they're having a good time. Yeah, but they're so dangerous at that time. Accidents and bad behavior, and then when the chemicals change, you done just laid waste to your friends and family and work. It happens at work. There's no place safe for this. You destroy so much, and a lot of people are alone and very depressed and very hopeless, So it is a disorder, and it is a disability claim. It is a disability that can be claimed through Social Security. But this is the bipolar. You're sad, you're empty, you're hopeless feeling. You have trouble sleeping at night. You're awake, insomnia. So many people have insomnia, and they just think it's insomnia. But other things are going on. You just maybe don't give them that much attention. Feeling worthless, very guilty. Uh, your work and family and social life suffers, you know. You're euphoric, revved up, irritable, manic. And it's many black people are misdiagnosed. They have bipolar disorder, but they usually misdiagnosed as schizophrenic. So, you know, it's difficult. And it is in the black community, you're told to pray about it. Fake it till you make it. Say you're thankful and grateful, whether you're sad, hurt, angry, lost, hopeless, chemically, and they're telling you you're not doing right. This will go away if you pray hard enough and have faith, or if you just be grateful, just count your blessings. All of that exists, and the chemicals still go up and down. It's not something a person can shake off. Prayer, you know, it changes everything. Prayer makes a difference, but that prayer may lead you to medical help, pharmaceutically or counseling, you know. And it's just such a malpractice for people to say you're depressed and you're ungrateful. What you got to be unhappy about? You live in one of the greatest counties. Look at you got a wife and husband. It's chemical. It's neurological. It's neurons firing and synapses gaps or whatever it's called, where the nerve endings almost touching it sends chemicals back and forth. You bit more don't have any choice in that than anybody else. But like you said, God helps. God will fix things. God changes things. But science is true. Once you have this disorder, it's forever. And God can bring great people in your life to help you with it, to sort it out, to make you more comfortable, not to have such extremes. And that is a blessing. That's a blessing. But when people have mental disorders, it is such a disservice to make them think they don't have faith enough to be healed by God. Okay? I mean, it's just really horrible. And they already feel alone, and now you're doing this to them. They're defective in faith. They doubt in their salvation. I'm not trusting God enough. If I just can really believe, I'll be okay. And most churches now are teaching pastors better than that, and hopefully it'll continue on. But I just wanted to say this about Kanye for president. We should all pray for him. People are making many jokes. I have already made jokes myself about it. But I really do think Kanye is suffering from a mental illness. And like I say, this is mentally speaking. Whether it's about him or not, I'm going to put hashtags that probably draw you here using Kanye. I am going to use him to bring attention to this, which may be not so right, but it's an opportunity for mentally speaking to speak, you know, and see stuff in the current events right before your eyes and to watch. And I say if you have people in your family that you know may be suffering from some type of mental disorder and they don't know, it's very difficult to get them to see it. But don't give up, because giving up on them is they're already isolated. It's very difficult to live with people that are going from one extreme to the next. And it's almost like you have to train yourself to understand and to know and not take things personally and not get caught up in it. I mean, you say you're going out with somebody manic, they start fights and stuff like that. You have to be aware. And it's very difficult to talk people out of their depression and out of their mania. So it's just an ongoing battle, but people can function pretty normally, you know. Like I say, as long as they're doing their self-care. And it's no shame, but the black community does not go for mental health care. The Hispanic community don't believe in it either. That's just how Aunt Sue is, and they just go on. The Asian community, they don't really acknowledge it. It has always been the white woman that goes in and out because, hey, they already figure we weak and have problems and we flighty and emotional, so we're more so treated. Men don't seek mental health either. But this is a discussion you should always have with your children. Let them be aware of mental health. You know, you should always be checking mental health and have your kids aware when something is feeling extreme or more so than the ordinary. When they say they hurt you, say, oh, that's a kid. A lot of this onset happens in young ages. So I just thank you so much for tuning in. And I'm so blessed that I can take the time to try to get you to see people aren't damaged and to be thrown away or less intelligent. A lot of people are afraid of people with mental illness, and I understand that because I can't tell you from week to week how I'm going to act, and I'm asking you to be okay and not afraid when I'm hijacked by my chemicals and don't know what's going on either. But we have to try to get a hold of it and acknowledge it, and we need to start with a new generation where it's common and not to be afraid and running and hiding. It's safety, but just saying, oh, that's a mentally ill person, they stupid. Bipolar people are highly intelligent. Schizophrenic, A Beautiful Mind showed the man that did the math. He was schizophrenic in his beautiful mind. It was so terrible, but he was brilliant. And then his son had the same problem, and he was brilliant. So mental illness shows no favor. It can happen to anybody. People say it's water on the brain. He hit his head when he was little. All those other things, you know, and they need help in another area. And it's not cheap, and it's not available everywhere. So let us always continue to pray, and we're gonna pray for Kanye West for a good end right now. And yeah, mentally speaking, thank you for taking the time to listen to me tonight. Thank you.